Good morning. It is Thursday, January the 29th, and this is The Drill. Thank you. The prayer of the day from the book titled Daily Declarations for Spiritual Warfare. My child, I reveal myself to my servants in vision, and I speak to them in dreams. Just as I gave my knowledge and understanding to Daniel and his friends, I will fill you with my knowledge and understanding. Just as Daniel could understand visions and dreams of all kinds, so too, if you serve me with all your heart, will I give you understanding of visions and dreams from me. When I give you my visions and dreams, pay close attention to all I say, for you too have been brought to the moment for a very special purpose. Lord, I do not fear the darkness of night, for I wait expectantly for your visions and dreams to fill me with understanding and knowledge for your people. You awaken me morning by morning, and you waken my ear to hear as the learned hear. You show forth your salvation in my life from day to day. Let your angels guard and protect me at night, and I will show forth your glory every day. Amen. Welcome to the butchers, bakers, and candlestick makers out there. I'm Ron, your host, and the only true conservative in the United States today. I've been doing something different with the prayer of the day. I used to be quoting a dailyscripture.net, and then I moved over. I was looking around in Kindle, at the Kindle store, and I came up with this book and that had prayers in it that I think are much more appropriate to the kind of angst and whatnot that is going on in many parts of the country today. So I think it's much more appropriate to have prayers in which we can take comfort in the fact that, number one, that God loves us and will protect us and provide us with various things, visions and dreams and whatnot. Also, ultimately, this book reminds us that the ultimate battle in good and evil is against Satan, and that all of the evil in the world is perpetrated by Satan, whether it's evil within this country or anywhere else in the world. When you include Satan in the equation, you have God on one side, Satan in the other, everything starts to make sense. When you believe in God, you're a Christian, and you go ahead and believe only in God, not in Satan, then it leaves you with a lot of puzzling questions. Why is this happening? Why is God allowing people to do so many dastardly and evil things? When you bring Satan into the equation, everything begins to make sense. Aha! The people that are doing evil are doing the work of Satan. And so I'm going to go to battle with them by communicating with God, by saying my prayers, by living God's word, and getting the protections and the armor and the weapons I need to defeat Satan each and every day in my life and not end up becoming one of those people that is influenced by and doing the marching orders of Satan. So, today, a quick look at President Trump's mistakes, and then I'm going to go ahead and just make some kind of general comments on some of the things that I have seen, read, and heard in various places. So, all that when I come back. Thank you very much. Biggest mistakes that Trump have made, and so it's tough to do. I like Donald Trump. If I'm seriously considering putting something on Facebook to the effect that I'm a Trump supporter, and if I have to choose between all my friends on Facebook and being a Trump supporter, goodbye to you. Because that's the way I feel about it. Trump has been so far more reliable person in my life than any of my so-called friends, and certainly more so than my relatives. So it's kind of hard and difficult to pick out the mistakes and look at the mistakes, but it needs to be done because President Trump did make big mistakes. I'm going to stay away from all this crap about Twitter and other comments and whatnot. That's just his personality. I would rather have had a President Reagan making all the same kinds of comments Donald Trump is and be a more effective president than the opposite. Because that's probably what it would have been if we could have gotten a smoother, more polished Donald Trump at what expense? Probably at the expense of efficacy. I'm sure he irritated and annoyed people and people that could have or might have been his allies, but that's what happens in Washington. If you're a square peg, they're going to round you off. They're going to smooth you out. That's the effort that's going to be made in Washington, D.C. And Donald Trump has made the effort and succeeded in not being smoothed out. There's also various pundits that have been smoothed out over the years. They've lost their punch. They've lost their edge. And so it's very, very easy to let the waves turn you into a nice, smooth little pebble instead of having the edges that you need to get the job done. And that's probably the biggest kudo. The biggest kudo to Donald Trump, by the way, is the fact that he stuck it out. Anybody else, George Wiener Bush, W boy, would have been gone in 6 months under the pressure, the same kind of pressure and the same kind of crap that President Trump received from the media and from his own party. W boy would have just collapsed and run away. So, and it didn't appear that Trump was even tempted to resign or to quit. And perhaps because he knew that if he resigned, if he quit, it was tantamount to a confession that all of his critics were right about him, that he was some kind of a racist, blah, blah, xenophobic, and then he not only shames himself, he shames all of his supporters, all 75 million. So good for him, especially in the end when he's more pressure for him to resign, to step down so that nobody has to have any blood on their hands in a second worthless impeachment trial. And shame on, not unexpected, but shame on those 7 senators or whatever they want to call themselves, certainly not Republicans, definitely not conservative, that voted to continue the trial, even when Rand Paul brought up that objection, saying that it was unconstitutional and they shouldn't do it. And so 10 senators, unfortunately, or 7, I think it was 7 senators. Unfortunately, it's going to take 17 Republican senators to get to the 2/3 mark, and the way it looks right now is that that's not going to happen. And so another waste of time, a giant waste of time, another black eye for Nancy Pelosi. I don't know how many, or she's got 2 eyes. She's had both of them blackened, and now she's getting blackened again. And she's going to look like the biggest jerk. She's going to go down in history as the biggest jerk in Washington. So, but anyways, President Trump made some big mistakes, and they were all personnel mistakes. Those were the biggest mistakes that he made. It wasn't about his tweeting and all that stuff. That's crap. That's just trivia. There's nothing. What the mistakes he made was in hiring or leaving in place people he knew or should have known were disloyal. He himself acknowledged and said that the most important quality in somebody that he's going to hire is loyalty. Because at that level, when you're up at the level he's at, everybody's, in terms of intelligence, is roughly the same. It might be the difference between 150 IQ and 155 IQ or something like that. Big deal, right? And in terms of experience, again, everybody's been in politics and around Washington for 10, 20, 30 years. So there's not much difference there. But what really counts and really matters is the loyalty. Because if you don't get people that are loyal, they will go ahead and stab you in the back. And that's what we saw 4 years of President Trump being stabbed in the back. Let's see, we had people that were defiant, insubordinate, Two of the ones that were most surprising was General Mattis and John Bolton. General Mattis and John Bolton, I thought, were two of the most solid appointments. And I thought, here we go. Now we can really get things going, because these are two solid, rock-ribbed Americans that recognize a patriotic American president in Donald Trump, and they're going to mind their P's and Q's. No. They couldn't wait to be defiant and to be insubordinate. Not only did they end up getting fired, but then they couldn't wait until the end of the administration to bother to write a tattletale book. So they had to do that right away. Because I used to be impressed with Mattis. I thought, wow, what a badass he is. Turns out he's nothing but a big fucking pussy. Then there's Trump hired a woman to run ICE, and she was the subordinate to the Homeland Security. It's one of the positions within Homeland Security, and he would tell her about the wall and tell her what to do, and she wouldn't do it. She just openly refused to obey any of his orders. She just wouldn't do it. So it appears to me that, again, she was a socialist, dressed herself up as though she was a Trumpist, and in order to get into the administration and subvert his administration. And I don't think she lasted 6 weeks before he finally had to fire her. Same thing with John Bolton. 6 months later, he's gone. Mattis, within 6 months, he's gone. Then you had the guy left over from the administration in the State Department, Lieutenant Colonel Jackass Whitmer, who for some reason, again, thinks he's going to be some kind of a hero because he's going to go running his mouth to the media or to the Democrats in Congress, thinking that he's doing what? That he's being a whistleblower? Doughy, pale, and he's a hero? He's been in combat? He's got medals? Are you kidding? He looks like a paper pusher. And then the senator, the worst mistake that Donald Trump made was appointing that Republican senator to be his attorney general. The absolute worst mistake. I can't believe that he did this for any other reason other than to try to encourage more Republicans to be supportive. It was a sop to the Republican National Committee and to the Republican Party and people in the Republican Party that opposed him. You know, like a fig, or not a fig leaf, but an olive branch, handing out an olive branch, to all the other Republicans that he pissed off in the party. Fine, we'll have Senator Screwball become Attorney General. And what's the first thing that Senator Screwball does? Senator Screwball says, I have to step down and I have to recuse myself. I can't have anything to do with investigating the Russian collusion hoax. So we have to have a special prosecutor. Opens the door for a special prosecutor. Mr. Special Prosecutor is a Democrat, and we end up with 2 years wasting time, wasting energy, 2 years of demoralization. And if Donald Trump had simply appointed somebody he could trust and knew for sure was going to be loyal to him, then we could have avoided that 2 years. Another way of handling it for Donald Trump is once we start going into special whatever mode, you just simply say, no, screw you. We're not having a special counsel. We don't need it. Either the Attorney General does his job or he gets the hell out. And we'll reappoint a new Attorney General who's going to do their job and they can investigate it. But anyways, two of the best personnel decisions he made, so you know that it's not because he's some kind of a neophyte in Washington that he's making these mistakes, was Sarah Huckabee Sanders and McElhaney is her name. I can't remember exactly how to pronounce it, but they were both the White House communications directors, and they were the ones that went out and gave the press briefings every day and battled with the press, and they were brilliant. They were absolutely steadfastly loyal, and they represented Donald Trump the way he should have been represented by every single member of his administration. They went out and they fought. They didn't take any crap from anybody. They didn't allow these people to play the game, prove the negative. They didn't bother to do any of that. They knew what they were doing. They knew what to expect from the news media. They knew that the news media was going to be nothing more than a propaganda mouthpiece for the Democrat Party, and they responded accordingly, and they were absolutely brilliant about it. Absolutely fantastic. And before I get off this subject, I want to also recognize that President Trump also made a excellent, the best, and again, one of the, it was almost like he was two people, where he could make absolutely brilliant personnel decisions, and then other personnel decisions where you think, what is he thinking? But one of his best and his earliest one was his vice president. Pence was fantastic. He was the loyal soldier. He did what he was supposed to do, when he was supposed to do it, how he was supposed to do it. No guff, no crap, no nothing. And that's why I get upset when I hear people say, I don't know where the hell they get this, but, the vice president refused to take a dubious action and try to refer the election back to the states for recount. And some people had the balls, the utter fucking stupidity to call the Vice President Pence a traitor. And supposedly there was even a movement afoot to kidnap him. What kind of crap is that? The man gave 4 years. He went campaigned with President Trump. He took as much crap as President Trump did, but he was the loyal soldier. He did what he was supposed to do, when he was supposed to do, without complaint, without subversion, without nothing. No deviations, no nothing. He was put in charge of the vaccine situation, or in charge of COVID, providing the numbers and whatnot. And again, did a brilliant job. He didn't try to go off on his own. He didn't pull a Fauci and take every possible opportunity to run to the media and contradict his boss. He did what he was supposed to do, when he was supposed to do it, how he was supposed to do it. So that was, again, one of the best personnel decisions he ever made. But that was Trump's weakness in those 4 years, were his personnel decisions. Should he run again in 2024, and I hope he does, then I am really hoping that he's learned his lessons in those areas, and that he's going to make absolutely sure that he has people that are loyal to him and to his agenda in his next administration. So I've run a little bit longer than I wanted to go, so I'm going to save my other comments for tomorrow. So back in a minute. Thank you very much. On the next episode, more daily declarations for spiritual warfare. I think I may wrap up my Trump retrospective with one or two of his speeches, because I got a book, and I recommend that. Is that there's look it up on Kindle. There's a book about that includes all of his speeches, including his inaugural address, his addresses to the United Nations, all of his speeches on the State of the Union, that kind of thing. So, and they're excellent reads, because if you compare Donald Trump's speeches to what you're hearing from the B-word administration these days, you'll notice a huge difference. That he's precise, that he is focused, and that the B-word administration is very general, very vague, no commitments to anything in particular, because all they're really interested in is plausible deniability. And then also I'm going to be looking at making some comments on some current events. There's a lot of wild talk and speculation about the left that I want everybody to definitely take a deep breath and look at things realistically. We're all true conservatives, and true conservatives are realistic. Okay, so look at the situation realistically. Don't let people that are chicken littles run around and convince you that the sky is falling. It's just not so. So that concludes another episode of The Drill. Be honest, be smart, and be beautiful. I'm Ron, and that's The Drill.